Have you ever noticed how some people remain unshaken, even in the face of the most difficult trials, while others crumble at the first sign of failure? What is their secret? Maybe you think that mental strength is something you're born with, but the truth is much simpler. Mental resilience is a habit, one that can be developed. Today, you will discover 7 powerful habits that will help you become unshakable in the chaos of life. These principles were the foundation of Stoic philosophy, the philosophy of those whose strength of spirit allowed them to endure wars, losses, betrayals, and the darkest of times. They knew how to stay calm, even when the world around them was falling apart. If you want to become stronger, more confident, and truly unshaken, then watch this video until the end. And of course, support us with a like and a subscription. Your support motivates us to create even more powerful content that will transform your life. Now, let's begin and break down the first habit, one that is absolutely essential for true strength: acceptance of the inevitable. Imagine standing before a raging sea. The waves are massive, unstoppable, relentlessly crashing against the shore. You can scream, run, try to fight them, but it's pointless. Life is the same. There are things you simply cannot control: pain, loss, betrayal, random misfortunes. They happen whether you like it or not. And this is where the first habit of mental strength begins: acceptance of the inevitable. The Stoics taught, if something is beyond your control, do not resist it. This does not mean surrendering. It means recognizing reality and directing your energy toward what you can change. When we fight against the inevitable, we only increase our suffering. Imagine a man caught in the rain shouting at the sky, "Why today?" Will that change anything? Of course not. Now picture another man. He simply takes out an umbrella or calmly walks through the rain without wasting his energy on meaningless complaints. He controls his reaction. That is what a Stoic does. He does not waste himself on unnecessary emotions. He accepts reality as it is and then decides what he can do about it. How this reduces anxiety and makes us emotionally resilient. Most people suffer from anxiety because of things that are completely beyond their control. They worry about what others think, stress over a future that hasn't happened yet, dwell on a past they cannot change. The Stoics knew there is no point in worrying about things beyond your control. Instead, they focused their attention on what was within their power. You cannot prevent the rain, but you can carry an umbrella. You cannot force someone to love you, but you can become someone worthy of respect. You cannot erase a mistake from the past, but you can learn from it and never repeat it again. When you stop wasting energy on useless fears and resisting reality, you become truly free. You stop being a prisoner of circumstances and start controlling your own state of mind. Practice death and loss as teachers of strength. One of the most powerful Stoic tools for accepting the inevitable is memento mori, the reminder of death. Does that sound harsh? But the truth is, understanding the finite nature of life makes us stronger. Think of a moment when you lost someone or something important. How desperately did you hold on? How difficult was it to let go? But time passed, and you survived. The Stoics taught to think about loss in advance, so that when it happens, you are not broken by it. Imagine that everything you have will one day disappear, not to frighten yourself, but to learn to appreciate this moment and be prepared for the inevitable. Marcus Aurelius said, "You could leave life at any moment. Let that determine what you do." When you accept that everything is temporary, you stop fearing loss. You stop depending on the external world and become truly free. You either suffer over what you cannot change or accept it and grow stronger. The choice is yours. The ability to endure discomfort. You live in a world where comfort is available at every step. A warm bed, delicious food, entertainment just one click away. But what if I told you that comfort is making you weaker? Mental strength is not born in comfort, but in hardship. In those moments when you struggle, when you are forced to push beyond your limits, this is the second habit of mentally strong people, the ability to endure discomfort. Think about any great achievement. No extraordinary person became strong through comfort. An athlete does not become a champion by avoiding pain. A great philosopher does not find truth without facing the challenges of life. A warrior is not forged without battles. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They deliberately made their lives harder to become stronger. Seneca said, "People do not suffer from circumstances, but from their perception of them." In other words, the softer you are with yourself, the harder the world will be on you. Why mental strength is born in hardship? Do you think happiness means the absence of problems? Then why are those who have everything often unhappy? Why do people who grow up in abundance tend to be weak and fragile? Because happiness is not the absence of problems, but your ability to handle them. Life will not become easier, but you can become stronger. Every time you go through difficulties, every time you push past your own limits, you become invincible. Think of any difficult period in your life, something that once felt unbearable, and now think, you survived, you became wiser, you learned valuable lessons. That is what makes you strong. When you intentionally choose difficulty, you become the master of your own destiny. Your mind adapts, your willpower grows. You stop fearing challenges because you have already endured pain. How deliberately making life harder makes you stronger. The Stoics understood if you want to be strong, you must train your mental resilience like a muscle. This means intentionally stepping out of your comfort zone. They practiced voluntary hardship. For example, Seneca sometimes chose to live in poverty, even though he was wealthy. He slept on a hard floor, ate the simplest food. Why? To avoid dependence on external conditions. To realize that the fears we create in our minds are greater than reality itself. Want to test yourself? Try going a week without eating sweets, or take cold showers instead of hot ones, or wake up earlier than usual. You will be surprised how strongly your mind resists even the smallest discomforts. But when you overcome that resistance, you gain something far greater, control over yourself. Now your desires no longer control you. You control them. Practice voluntary hardship by Seneca. Try one of the Stoic exercises. Choose something comfortable and familiar in your life and consciously give it up for a week. It could be avoiding social media, taking a cold shower every morning, sleeping without a pillow, eating only simple, repetitive meals, engaging in physically uncomfortable activities. Observe your mind. How does it react? What thoughts arise? Is it fear, irritation, the urge to quit? And then ask yourself, is it really that terrifying? Or is it just your mind, accustomed to comfort, creating unnecessary drama? When you learn to face discomfort consciously, you become stronger. You will no longer fear challenges because you already know they do not break you, they forge you. Remember, if you run from pain, it will catch you at the worst possible moment. But if you walk into it willingly, accept it, control it, you become unstoppable. Discipline and self-control. If you want to be mentally strong, you must understand one fundamental truth. Your emotions, desires, and impulses do not control you. You can master them or become their slave. And this is where the third habit of strong people comes into play: discipline and self-control. Discipline is the bridge between who you are now and who you want to become. It separates those who dream from those who act. It makes you someone others can rely on, someone you yourself can be proud of. But why is discipline more important than motivation? Why discipline is more important than motivation? Motivation is a spark, a fleeting impulse, It comes and goes. Today you are full of energy, but tomorrow you feel too lazy to get out of bed. Discipline, on the other hand, is your internal compass. It does not depend on your mood. It forces you to do what must be done, even when you don't feel like it. Mentally weak people live by their emotions. They do only what feels good and avoid everything that requires effort. They get lost in their desires, becoming prisoners of their own impulses. But mentally strong people live by principles. They act not because they want to, but because they must. They control their impulses rather than being led by them. Take any great person, a philosopher, a general, a leader. They all have one thing in common: iron discipline. They understand that success is not a moment of inspiration, but daily effort, even when no one is watching. How the Stoics controlled their emotions and desires. The Stoics said, if you do not control yourself, someone else will control you. You may think you are free, but if your emotions control you, you are a slave. If you cannot master your impulses, then food, social media, laziness, fear, and frustration will master you. Marcus Aurelius started each day with a reminder to himself: today I will encounter foolish, wicked, and unjust people, but I will not let them disturb my peace. He did not expect the world to be fair. He prepared himself for challenges. He understood that the most valuable thing he possessed was control over his own reaction. The Stoics did not suppress their emotions, but they did not allow them to make decisions. If you feel anger, acknowledge it, but do not act on it. If you feel fear, recognize it, but do not let fear dictate your actions. If you feel laziness, do not ask yourself if you want to do something. Just do it. This is the difference between someone who is strong and someone who is ruled by their emotions. Practice. Practice. Control over desires and pleasure. If you want to develop iron discipline, start by controlling what brings you pleasure. Choose something you are attached to and abstain from it for a week. This could be sugar. Remove sweets from your diet. Social media. Stop mindless scrolling. Entertainment. Stop watching TV series, YouTube, or playing video games. Comfort. Every day, do something you do not want to do. For example, wake up earlier. Watch how your mind resists. You will see how strong your dependence on comfort really is. But when you overcome this resistance, you will feel an incredible strength. You will realize that you can control yourself rather than being dependent on external stimulation. And that is when you will become truly free. Remember, mental strength is not something you are born with. It is something you develop by conquering yourself again and again. The art of inner dialogue. Everything you see in this world, everything that happens to you, has no meaning until you assign meaning to it. True strength is not in events. True strength is in how you interpret them. You can see failure as a catastrophe or as a lesson. You can take criticism as an insult or as an opportunity to improve. You can view rejection as the end or as the beginning of something new. That is why the fourth habit of mentally strong people is the art of inner dialogue. The Stoics understood thought is the beginning of everything. If you do not control your mind, it will become your enemy. It will fill you with doubt, fear, negativity, and in the end, it will make you weak. But if you learn to master your inner dialogue, you become unshakable. How to control your thoughts so they don't destroy you. Listen to your inner voice. How does it speak to you? Does it encourage you, or does it whisper that you are not good enough? Most people don't even realize how destructive their inner monologue is. You are a failure. You will never succeed. You are not like them. These thoughts seep into the mind, and a person starts to believe them. They place limits on themselves. But the Stoics taught, you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of them. You can change them. You can program yourself for strength instead of weakness. Technique, self-talk by Marcus Aurelius. Every night before bed, Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal. He analyzed his actions. He asked himself, what did I do right today? Where could I have done better? He did not pity himself, but he also did not blame himself. He used conscious self-reflection to grow. You can do the same. Every morning, remind yourself, what can I control? Everything else is irrelevant. Which thoughts make me stronger? Those are the ones I must cultivate. What words do I tell myself? Make them powerful. Stop saying, I can't. Say, I am learning. Stop saying, I'm unlucky. Say, I create my own opportunities. Stop saying, this is too hard. Say, this is a challenge that will make me stronger. Practice filtering thoughts. Try one day of observing your inner voice. Every time a negative thought arises, stop yourself and replace it with a new one. Instead of, I can't handle this, I will find a way. Instead of, no one supports me, I am my own foundation. Instead of, this is impossible, I will try. Do this consciously. And within a week, you will notice a shift in your mind. You will realize you are not a prisoner of your thoughts. You are their creator. The Stoics taught, if you want to be strong, first change your thinking, because it is your mindset that determines your destiny. Shifting focus to action. You can complain about life, blame others, say that you are unlucky. But the truth is, words change nothing. There is only one thing that makes you stronger. Action. Complaining is easy, but it is weakness. Being afraid is easy, but it is weakness. Waiting for the perfect moment is easy, but it is weakness. A strong person does not waste time on useless emotions. They focus only on what is within their control. The Stoics said, you do not control circumstances, but you always control your actions. Why complaining is useless and action is the only way. Life is unfair. That is a fact. You may be betrayed. You may lose money. You may not receive what you deserve. But what will complaining do for you? Will it change anything? No. It will only make you weaker. Strong people do not ask, why is life like this? They ask, what can I do? You can stay stuck in the past or take a step forward. You can wait for help or create your own strength. You can complain or take control of the situation. The Stoics did not waste their energy on regret. They shifted their focus to action. How the Stoics handled crises. Imagine you are caught in a storm. The wind knocks you off your feet. The rain lashes against your face. What will you do? You can stand there and curse the sky, or you can find shelter and figure out how to survive. The Stoics always chose the second option. Marcus Aurelius, in the midst of war, did not complain about how hard it was. He asked himself, what can I do right now to change the situation? Epictetus, as a slave, did not suffer because of his position. He asked himself, what is within my control? Seneca, after losing his fortune, did not say, how unlucky I am. He said, what can I rebuild? When you focus on action, you become the author of your life. Practice, not emotions, but actions. Every time you face a difficult situation, ask yourself one question. What is within my power right now? You lost your job. What steps can you take to find a new one? You failed at something. Okay, what lessons can you learn from this experience? You were betrayed. Okay, how can you use this to become wiser? Do you see? Every moment in life is a choice. You either get stuck in emotions or you move forward. The Stoics knew the world does not stop while you suffer. So your job is simple. Keep moving. You want to be strong? Do. Don't overthink. Don't talk. Just act. Accepting fear as an ally. Fear is a prison where millions of people are trapped. They are afraid to act, afraid to speak the truth, afraid to lose, afraid to start. But there is one secret that separates strong people from weak ones. The weak run from fear. The strong accept it as an ally. The Stoics understood that fear is not an enemy. It is a compass. It shows you where you need to go. If something scares you, it means that growth is there. Strength is there. Do you want to become mentally stronger? Then stop running from fear. How fear can make you stronger. Most people think fear is weakness, but that is a lie. Fear is energy. It is a signal from your brain that you are facing something important. You fear public speaking? Then you must speak more. You fear rejection? Then you must learn to hear no without losing confidence. You fear change? Then change is exactly what will take you to the next level. If you learn to use fear instead of avoiding it, you will become invincible. You will no longer be a victim of emotions. You will turn your fear into fuel for growth. Why the Stoics learned to befriend fear. The Stoics knew that fear is an illusion. When you feel fear, you are not afraid of reality. You are afraid of your thoughts about the future. You fear what has not happened yet. You do not suffer from pain itself, but from the fear of pain. You do not suffer from loss itself, but from the fear that it might happen. Marcus Aurelius said, "You suffer more in your imagination than in reality." So why waste your life on fear? What happens if you face your fears head on? They fade. They lose their power over you. You will see that you were always stronger than you thought. Practice conscious fear exposure. There is one powerful way to tame fear. Do not avoid it. Walk toward it. Every day, do something that scares you. If you fear talking to a stranger, speak up. If you fear stepping on stage, step forward. If you fear changing your life, take the first step. You will feel fear. Your heart will beat faster. But once you do it, you will see that fear is nothing. You will realize that you control it. It does not control you. And that is when you become truly free. The Stoics knew fear will not disappear, but you can learn to live with it and use its power. You either live in fear or you use fear as fuel for growth. The choice is yours. Awareness of mortality. Do you fear death? Do you fear that one day everything will end? Do you fear wasting time? But the Stoics knew one truth. Death is not an enemy. It is the greatest teacher. They did not turn away from the thought of death. They looked it in the face. They understood that awareness of mortality is what makes life truly valuable. That is why the seventh habit of mentally strong people is the awareness of their own mortality. The Stoics said, memento mori, remember death, not to be afraid, but to live consciously. Why the thought of death makes us freer. You know you have an expiration date, but how do you use your time? Do you waste your days complaining, procrastinating, and living in fear? Or do you live as if every day could be your last? Awareness of mortality gives you the ultimate gift, freedom. You stop fearing the opinions of others. You stop postponing your dreams. You stop clinging to things that don't matter. You start truly living because you realize time is the only currency you will never get back. How the Stoics used memento mori. They reminded themselves every day, today could be my last day, so I must live it with meaning. Everyone I know will one day be gone, so I must love them now. I will take nothing material with me, so I must not be a slave to possessions. Do you fear death? But you are already dying every day. Every moment is a part of your life that is slipping away. But if you realize this, you will begin to live differently. You will no longer postpone your life. You will stop fearing failure. You will start cherishing every second. Practice meditation on death. Once a day, remind yourself, if today were my last day, what would I do? Would you waste it on meaningless arguments, on complaints, on procrastination? Or would you do something that truly matters? This is not a dark thought. This is the path to freedom. The Stoics knew life is not preparation for something else. Life is now. You either waste it or truly use it. Memento mori. Remember death so you can truly live. Now you know the 7 habits that will make you mentally stronger. But knowledge is only half the journey. Ask yourself, are you ready to apply them in your life? Are you ready to accept the inevitable and stop wasting energy on what you cannot change? Are you ready to endure discomfort, knowing that it is what makes you stronger? Are you ready to develop discipline instead of relying on motivation? Are you ready to control your inner dialogue, programming yourself for strength, not weakness? Are you ready to focus on action instead of complaints? Are you ready to use fear as a compass rather than a reason to retreat? Are you ready to live consciously, understanding that time is the only thing you will never get back? This is not just philosophy. This is the path to true freedom. Write in the comments, which of these habits resonates with you the most? Perhaps you are already applying some of them in your life. And remember, Stoicism is not just beautiful words. It is a way to become stronger, calmer, wiser. Support this video with a like and a subscription. Your engagement motivates us to create more life-changing content. Be strong, be a Stoic. See you in the next video.